Greetings, everyone. This is Stephen again. Um, I had a rough week this past week. Basically, I'm chronicling the weeks as they go, as they unfold, as they progress, as they transgress, as they digress, as they evolve. Um, One thing I can say is that anxiety is something that is not to be taken lightly. Um, Anxiety is a condition of the mind, but also of the physical body. When you have anxiety, um, your mind shuts down. Your body shuts down, but your mind races. Your mind races and gallops at a speed that is unprecedented. Um, I know in my last video, I just made an observation about myself. In my last video, I didn't say the word as many times as I normally do, primarily because I've been taking my time. Now, what that means is I've decided to breathe a little bit. And that might be the problem with me, is that I don't take the time to breathe. You know? So with anxiety, there are ways to manage it, there are ways to deal with it, but I don't think there is a way to completely conquer it. Now it does say in the Bible, with God all things are possible. So believing that God can take away such ailments, can do such things as cure you of your infirmities, your weaknesses. Now, 2 Corinthians 12:10 says that he takes pleasure in, this is not verbatim, he takes pleasure in infirmities. He takes pleasure in necessities, tribulations, persecutions. For when I am weak, thus I am strong. So if you look at that on a metaphorical as well as a practical manner, or in the manner of looking at that in those two different ways. Metaphorically, it could mean being weak is actually being strong, because Christ, His grace is sufficient of thee in the weakness. You know, Paul in the book of Acts asked the Lord before he was Saul, or maybe when he was Saul, he asked the Lord, "Take this thorn out of my flesh." And I think what the thorn is I think the thorn was his sin, because Saul was a man who was a vehement murderer. He was bloodthirsty for Christians so that he could kill them and slay them, put an end to them. The story of Saul and the transition into Paul, to make a long story short, he was blinded off of his horse on the road to Damascus. And the Lord basically ministered unto him while he was blind for 3 days. And the Lord then, of course, transformed him and said, "You're now no longer to be Saul, you're now to be Paul, my disciple." So when it comes to Paul, it's possible that he was saying in 2 Corinthians 12:10 that being weak is not a matter of weakness. It's probably just a matter of being human. Okay? So what I recommend, if you're having anxiety, find a doctor, find a therapist. The medications that I take, they do help, but there are some things that are beyond the control of pharmaceuticals. So when it comes to the practical side of managing anxiety through weakness, when you are weak, you are strong. Just know that once you do come out of that anxiety attack, you're going to be stronger. You're going to know more about how your body, how your mind actually operates once you've come out of that anxiety attack. So what I recommend to you is just stay positive, stay prayed up, stay hopeful, because even in the face of the most violent white squall that you'll face in your life, you can overcome. Understand this as well. And I say this to myself. This is only a chapter of my life. This is not the story in its entirety, in its totality. This is just a chapter. So be blessed and peace.